So you can't call Ronaldo back, that's done. But you can call some of your loan players back. And that seems to be the case with Martin Odegaard. So what's prompted Zidane to do that now? Because it was set to be another year for him at Real Sociedad.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a rethink, and it's been a rapid change of plans, and it's something that surprised everyone. It really surprised Real Sociedad. I think they're in a state of shock at the moment and trying to figure out, all of their planning for next season has to change because they were convinced. I mean, they had been told that Martin Odegaard was going to be with them for another season. As you say, initially, it was kind of a gentleman's agreement, a verbal agreement that it was going to be a 2-year loan because under Spanish Federation rules, you can only have one formal loan 1 year at a time. So, but they had discussed, even a few weeks ago when the two teams met each other, they talked about it and it was understood that Odegaard would be back at Real Sociedad for another season. What changed? Well, the Champions League defeat, as we just discussed, to Manchester City. The feeling that they need a little bit of a freshening up of the squad. The financial reality that freshening up basically has to come without spending any money. And well, the great news is that Real Madrid have this amazing array of talent out on loan. And so we're seeing that freshening up coming from bringing back loan players. And number one on that list was Martin Odegaard. This was Zidane's decision. He personally decided this. He spoke to Martin Odegaard reportedly this week to tell him about this. Odegaard, I think he was really happy at Real Sociedad, and he would have been happy to play there for another season. Maybe if they'd been in the Champions League rather than dropping out into the Europa League, there would have been even more of an incentive to stay there. So he was perfectly happy to stay. But I think he knows he's a Real Madrid player. He's been a Real Madrid player all this time. And when Zidane gives you a call, and of course those two know each other, they've worked together before, and says, I want you back, I think you say, yes, boss. And you pack your bags and you head back to Madrid.
It's not like Zidane, though, to call a player back if he doesn't think he's going to use him. So do we expect to see Odegaard in the first 11 for Real Madrid regularly? And if we do, who's missing out?
That'll be the big concern, won't it? And the worry is that he comes back, he isn't used as much as he would have been at Real Sociedad, and it has an impact on his development, and it slows down his development because he's developed an incredible pace in the last year. For earlier on in the season, last season, he was the best player in the Liga. He dropped off quite a bit and had some injury problems after that. But yes, he has to play. That's really, really important. I mean, there's an acceptance that at Real Madrid, he won't play every single week, but I think he's got to be playing, if not every week, then every other week or something like that. He'll be looking for, 20, 25, maybe 30 games in all competitions. Who's going to miss out? Well, the most natural alternative is Luka Modric. I suppose they're probably the most similar. We all love Luka, and he's still operating at a very high level, but he's not getting any younger, and I'm sure he would accept that. I think the ideal scenario is that they can maybe alternate a little bit, and Odegaard can learn, continue to develop alongside someone like Luka Modric. But there's other competition there too. There's Isco, who's more often than not out of the team these days than in it. There's Fede Valverde as well, who's a really exciting young player. It also depends the way that Zidane wants to play. He tends to operate, I think he likes a 4-3-3, but he tends to pick a midfield 4 for the big games against the bigger teams, and sometimes in knockout competitions like the Champions League. So that's an issue as well. There are ways of fitting, say, Odegaard and Modric into the same team, but that means you've got other questions. You're leaving out Vinicius, or you're leaving out Rodrigo, or you're leaving out Asensio. So, I mean, it'll be a big concern, certainly for Odegaard, but also for the club. It's in their interests as well that he continues to develop at the same kind of pace.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.